Welcome. This is Seniors Living in Alexandria. We're in the November session. We're looking forward to an exciting new adventure in terms of information that seniors can use as well as their family and friends. I'm pleased that I'm here with my co-host this evening, Mary Lee Anderson. We have a special guest this evening, Chris Thiel, who's the program director at Rebuilding Together Alexandria. We're going to hear a lot of information this evening about their program, but first, Mary Lee, give us what's going on now at Senior Services, please.
Well, Jim, we had a terrific Senior Law Day event last month. Wonderful turnout and just some excellent information from local experts about planning for your estate and for your loved one's security, as well as talking about a lot of issues related to long-term care. Anyone who is interested in getting information that couldn't make it can check out our website. There's a lot of good links to some of the information that was given out then. And then next month we have another interesting event that'll be coming up on November the 19th. We're working with ACT for Alexandria, and we'll have a presentation over at Bethel Hebrew congregation about managing those difficult conversations that you might have with your loved ones about, how to set up financial programs and issues as you get older that will make everybody's life a lot easier. So again, a lot of really good information, and we hope that people will register for that event by calling our office.
Well, we'll look forward to those sessions. But
Thank you.
Let's turn to Chris. Chris, Rebuilding Together Alexandria. Tell us a little bit about Rebuilding Together Alexandria.
Okay, Jim, Rebuilding Together Alexandria is part of a very large national organization, which is, our headquarters is in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And we have about 200 chapters around the country, so we're just one of the 200. And our mission with Rebuilding Together is to help preserve housing and assist the local homeowners within the city of Alexandria maintain their homes in a safe and healthy manner. And we do that by providing home repair services at no cost to the owners.
Do you have any kind of overview of the Alexandria situation? How many homeowners are there that have this kind of need? Any way of measuring that?
I do not have those numbers. We do know that living in Alexandria is difficult for a lot of people. It's expensive. And from what our statistics show us, the average income of our clients is around $27,000 a year. So if you use that number to figure out how much they have left over for meals and food and housing and a new roof, they have to make decisions which way to go with the limited funds, especially if you're a senior. So we do know the need is great. We do know we have the services that we can offer local Alexandria residents, and we're here to help wherever we can.
So basically, if I understand it right, there's a housing stock with an owner or a tenant that lives in it, and they say, I need something that I can't do myself or I can't afford to do for myself. How do you find those people, and how do you verify what their situation is and determine what's needed? How do you go about doing that?
Well, first of all, we only work with homeowners, so to be considered a candidate or client of ours, you must own your house. Or, you must own your own house or be part of a nonprofit facility within the city of Alexandria. After that, you can just submit an application to us, list what your needs are, what your challenges are. We do ask to see what your income is, because we do have a threshold that we use as a barometer to measure if we can assist you. And then the application goes through the office. We look at the needs, when we can get out there, what type of extra resources do we need, what type of materials, do we need to bring plumbers, roofers?
How do you do, a couple of questions. How do you do the assessment of the property? Do you do that yourselves, or do you have contractors or building people on staff that you can call on, or volunteers maybe that do that? How do you determine the need for the house?
Once the client or the homeowner sends us an application asking for assistance, and we, the staff, will go out to the homeowner, talk with them, walk around the facility. We have a very lengthy checklist to see the condition of the house, and we do a very thorough walkthrough. Probably takes us about an hour and a half, and we look at things such as tripping hazards, leaky windows from weatherization issues, roofing leaks, plumbing issues, tripping hazards.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get in and out of your bathroom safely? Do you need a chair lift, wheelchair ramps to the front door? So we use all that information. Our goal is to come into their house and say, what can we do to make your housing situation safe and livable, so then you can maintain a good standard of living in your house and not have to worry about other challenges moving out.
I missed a step, and I want to ask this. How do potential clients, homeowners, how do they know about you? How do they, I know there's an application, but they need to know what Rebuilding Together does and that there's that kind of program available. Do you let it be known through newspapers, media, through brochures, pamphlets, word of mouth? How do you get the word out?
We have an extensive marketing reach within the city of Alexandria, and we've been doing this since 1986.
I see.
So we've been around that long. And we work with Senior Services, and through their publications, we do direct mail campaigns to a subset of City Alexandria residents based upon information we get from the other government agencies within the City of Alexandria. The police department, promotes us when they see residents in need. The health department does that. Local residents.
Would family members?
Yes, family members.
My aunt needs
your aunt. We work with a lot of religious organizations, so then they reach out to their congregation. If they find a resident or a church member that needs assistance, they'll say, hey, go call Rebuilding Together. They're here to help, and this is what they do, and they can take care of you.
What's the volume of applications, and what's the response rate? I mean, is it overwhelming numbers or reasonable, manageable numbers?
We get in many applications. It's hard to tell you how many we get. We're always looking for more applicants, but we do get a good number. On average, we'll probably take care of almost 90 to 98 clients throughout the year.
Okay.
So we're pretty busy.
Okay.
We're always working on projects.
That's okay. So you've got a client that applies, is accepted. You put together a work plan, list of materials. How do you get people?
Then that's the other half of the equation.
Okay.
So we've got the clients needing help, and then we have to somehow get the work done.
Okay.
We work primarily through volunteers, where an organization, a local company, or a religious organization will want to sponsor a house, and they'll come to us with a sponsorship, and they'll say, Rebuilding Together, we have a team from XYZ corporation or church, and we have 25 volunteers that are ready to help you wherever you tell us you need. So then we put together the volunteer team, given their skill sets, to the homeowner that needs those particular needs, and then we put them together, and then the team from the sponsoring group then moves forward to make the repairs.
Do they try to target that to get it done in one day? Well, the reason I say that is I've worked on a number of Rebuilding Together projects. You have really cool T-shirts, by the way.
That's why
I've got several of those in the drawer. But it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
But what if? So my take on it is that it's always one day, a group effort done by that. Do you have an ongoing effort, or is it?
It's an ongoing effort, depending on most of the clients that we work on. We do the work the last Saturday of April, which is called Rebuilding Day.
Okay.
And that's the big push that we use, and all of the other affiliates around the country. But it's not necessarily a one-day event. If the home needs work prior to that, we'll send in a plumber in advance, or electrician, or put the roof on. And if there's work that needs to be done after that one visit, we'll do whatever it takes. So it's important that it's not a one deal, that's all you get for one day.
Does a organization that works on a project, do they have to have the whole range of, do you have to have an electrician, a plumber, and painters? I mean, there's some unskilled and some skilled jobs in there, and some maybe need a license, maybe some need inspection.
Right.
How do you put all that together?
It's a good question. All we need from the volunteers is a good attitude and a strong spirit and a willingness to help, and we'll fill in the blanks.
So you give them lunch, you give them a quality T-shirt, and supervision and management.
And we give them electricians if they need it, and we give them a outstanding time. And almost a majority of our teams come back year in, year out, because it's such a great opportunity when you can go into a house that is really in desperate need of help. And through 8 hours of hard work, 15 to 25 volunteers, when they leave the end of the day, the homeowner is like so thankful. It's livable, it's clean, it's safe. We've got rid of issues that will cause issues down the road, and everybody just says, wow, this is exciting.
It's a great feeling, to tell you the truth. Do they have, is there any payment involved?
Yes, well, payment from who?
Homeowner or sponsoring organization? How does that side work out?
The key thing here for City of Alexandria residents is for them to be part of the program, there is no cost, strictly free.
Okay.
So all they need to do is fill out an application, mail us the application, which is the only cost would be the stamp, and then after that we take care of the rest. But we do have a special dedicated program for seniors when we'll go into their house and do an inspection, a healthy housing inspection for them. We have a 22-point checklist that will go into a senior's house and just make sure that their house is ready, that they have the things that they need that they probably may not have thought about, such as, do you have a fire extinguisher? Do you have smoke detectors? Do you have carbon monoxide detectors?
Super.
Is the venting to your dryer cleaned? Okay. How about the filter to your air conditioning system? Has that been changed recently? So we do have a program for seniors to go in there and help them do the things that they just don't know about or have the time to take care of themselves.
Well, my own personal experience, as I've said, is that that's an extraordinary, it's a great experience for the volunteers, and sounds like extremely worthwhile, but more importantly, I think extremely well organized. I mean,
we've been doing this since 1986. Right. We've got a pretty well-oiled machine. Since 1986, we've worked with 1,700 clients throughout those years. And in that time, 22,000 volunteers have come through our programs to help residents of Alexandria. It's a great program. I myself was a volunteer before I came on staff, so I was a volunteer for 12 years, working with a lot of the residents within the city. That's
very useful and very impressive. We're out of time for right now, and we're going to take a break. We'll be back, and I want to thank Chris, but let's see what else we have in store for us today.
Hi, we're here today at Ben Brenman Park in Alexandria with Vanessa Greene, who's from the Senior Center at Charles Houston.
Correct.
And how are you today?
I'm doing well, Allie. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you so much for being here on the show with us today.
My pleasure.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as well as the Senior Center?
Okay, I am, as Allie said, Vanessa Greene, and I am the director of the Senior Center at Charles Houston here in the city of Alexandria, Virginia. We are commonly referred to as the East End Senior Center because we follow we're a federally funded, that's a mouthful, program, and we receive mandates to operate from the local area agency on aging. And we are sponsored by the Alexandria Redevelopment and Housing Authority, or acronym ARHA, who has a partnership funded by the city's Department of Community and Human Services, Division of Aging and Adult Services. I have been with the Senior Center in the position of director since 1993. That's a long time. And we are a Monday through Friday operation. We're open from 8:30 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of our population comes from the east side of Alexandria, with the boundary being Quaker Lane going east. Okay.
So what would a typical day at the Senior Center look like?
Actually, Allie, we have what I like to refer to as thematic days, where we do certain activities different days of the week. One very important aspect, and I'm not just saying this because today is the robust walkathon day, but we do have to have continuum of physical exercise programs. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings, we have a walking club that's led by our assistant director, Cynthia Pierce. And on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, we have stretching, and I actually lead those classes. Typically, we do recreational programming, leisure games. We also are involved in several partnerships. Most of them are intergenerational partnerships, to include Berkeley Farm Country Day School, Marymount University, as well as the Child and Family Preschool that's sponsored by, I believe it is the Network Preschool Family and Child Centers. All right? And we also do field trips. That's the most important component of the program. Typically, our field trip days are Thursdays and Fridays. Basically, Thursdays are devoted to shopping trips for our seniors. And it's not just to grocery stores. They go to a variety of department stores, grocery stores, farmers markets within the DMV area. We travel as locally as Alexandria. We go to Maryland, and we also go to almost Fredericksburg, Virginia. Oh, wow. So they go to a variety of places, and we also visit local museums. We attend shows. We attend local movie theaters. And we also go bowling. So we do what I like to refer to as a holistic kind of program. One very important component of our program is the congregate meal program, in that our seniors are offered a daily lunch meal. And there is no fee to join the center. However, we do accept voluntary contributions because we are a federally funded program.
How can individuals who want to learn more about the Senior Center, how can they go about that?
Currently, we do have a web page. Our web address is chseniors.wordpress.com. And we are located inside the Charles Houston Community Center at 901 Wythe Street here in the city. And the center's phone number is 703-746-5456.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much for being here with us
today.
Thank
you, Allie. It was my pleasure.
Hi, we're at the Robust Walkathon, and I'm here with Jerry King, one of Alexandria's Robust Walkathon leaders. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, how are you doing this morning?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
So tell us about your program.
Well, we meet 3 days a week at 8 o'clock at north of the Mount Vernon School at the intersection of Mount Vernon and Commonwealth, geez.
Mm-hmm. That's
blank.
Okay,
anyway.
That's all right.
Anyway, so we meet for an hour, do low impact exercises. We do walking and exercising, and sometimes we just do balancing exercises, and most importantly, we do falling exercises. We practice falling so we know how to fall so we won't hurt ourselves.
Oh, that's great. And again, what days do you meet?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock.
And if people are interested in joining you, how do they find out or get in touch with you?
Well, they can go to Biking and Walking in Alexandria. If they Google that, it'll show up, the Robust Walking Group.
Great.
And they get all the information. And we can certainly use more people. Everybody needs exercise.
Absolutely.
It's a fun group.
So join Jerry's fun group and check it out, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Think of your elbows going backwards. And so as you're walking with a little bend in your elbows, bring them back vigorously. This is unlike power walking, where you reach out and you swing your arms and waste a lot of energy. The way to be efficient and energetic is to bring those elbows back smartly, as if you're hitting a wall behind you or a punching bag. And what will happen is you will increase your cadence, because as you bring that elbow back, the same leg goes forward. So you could forget about the legs. They will just react to the way you move your arms. A third idea is to think of a fishing line attached to your belly button. And so as you're walking, just think of someone reeling you in. So if you're walking and you're starting to slow down, flagging a little bit, and you want to pick up the pace, just think of someone reeling you in or being pulled on a bungee cord or a winch, and you'll start walking more smartly. Another move is to think of your stomach as a big balloon, and as you walk, breathe in breathe in deeply into this balloon and feel it expand. You can even put your hand on your stomach and just feel it expand. And then when you breathe out, squeeze it out. And that will help you when you're walking around the lake. Because as you walk, you breathe in deeply and the oxygen will go to the depths of your lungs instead of up on top like so many of us breathe when we are exercising. And the last one I want to show you is the walk on hot coals. And Jerry here is an expert on this one. You imagine hot coals or a hot beach or hot pavement. And as you walk, you'll find yourself picking your feet up quicker. Now, how do you put those together? Well, as you're going for a walk, just think of every time you find yourself getting a little lazy with it, just think of hot coals or one of those images, and you'll find yourself propelled.
Welcome back. We're going to close down this session very quickly, but I want to thank Chris Thiel of Rebuilding Together Alexandria for a very informative program this evening. We're going to go now to highlights from Senior Law Day, but I want to first let Mary Lee Anderson have the opportunity. Any wrap-ups that you've got or things we need to look for or look?
Well, Chris reminded me in talking about how we work together as two organizations. Senior Services of Alexandria has right now 13 senior information corners all over the city, in the libraries, the rec centers, and some of the condo communities and continuing care communities. And we stock those with information from other nonprofits, one of which is Rebuilding Together Alexandria. So if you're looking for information about services and programs available for seniors in the city, look out for a senior information corner and you can pick it up at a handy location near you.
Outstanding. All right. Well, thanks, Chris and Mary Lee. And I want to thank you all for sitting in on this, and wish you a very, very early Thanksgiving. Count your blessings and celebrate with your family.
First of all, you should always have a last will and testament. And they say, well, Father, I'm married, and therefore I won't need a last will and testament because everything is held jointly. Well, one of you is going to die first, and that other person will need a will. I think a will is a great base document to have, and you need to spend time thinking about that. My students know that in my casebook on the Seasons Estates, I give them a questionnaire. When that attorney gives you a questionnaire to fill out, spend some time thinking about where you want your property to go. A will is an important document, and you need to take seriously when you execute that document as well. This is not something silly, not something about which you should make jokes. It is an important base document. But the majority of transfers today occur through what is referred to as non-probate transfers, or will substitutes. Everyone in this room who's married, you're living in a common law state, you probably own your home as tenancy by the entirety, which means upon your death, your house automatically goes to your surviving spouse. Now, you might say, I have a will that conflicts with that. Now, that won't supersede this non-probate transfer. The deed to your house supersedes the will. You're also looking at many of you, and this is a very common estate planning device, will establish what is referred to as inter vivos trust, meaning during your lifetime you have an inter vivos trust. In the inter vivos trust, you put all of your assets, you live off of those assets, you have the right to revoke the trust if you want, but upon the date of your death, whatever is there will pass over to named beneficiaries. These are very common, and people like them for two reasons. Number one, they are fast. You don't have to go through probate. Number two, because you don't have to go through probate, you save all the costs associated with probate. It also saves you having to pay inheritance taxes as well. There's no inheritance tax because it's a non-probate transfer. Inter vivos trusts and instruments like your deed, tenancy by the entirety. Another one of these elements would be joint tenancy. Some of you have children, so you're going to establish more than likely savings account, checking account, whereby your Social Security check, your retirement account is paid over into the account, and your children have access to that money as well. The account says it's jointly held, therefore upon your death, whatever is remaining in that account becomes the property of that child. This is a presumptive status today. You in turn could change that, but that will be a non-probate transfer, doesn't go through probate as well. That's a fine device to have. Also, there are a lot of people here who have obviously life insurance policies. This is a growing business, and it's growing for a number of reasons. Life insurance policy is also a non-probate transfer. So let's say you have an IRA, a KEO, but you also have a life insurance policy that's payable to somebody. That contract also supersedes a last will and testament. Again, to recap, everybody needs a will, but the majority of your assets will pass more than likely outside of your will if you have a spouse, a child, someone with whom you've had a joint account, someone with whom you might want to have an inter vivos trust to benefit you for your life, revocable, and then the remainder go to them afterwards. These non-probate devices are favored by a lot of older people because you avoid probate costs, inheritance taxes when they're applicable, and they are fast, quick, easy. Many people like them too because they're secret. Anybody here want to see Frank Sinatra's will? Very easy to see. You can find it online. But if you have a non-probate transfer, that does not have to be published. Therefore, no one's going to see where your property is going to go. Today, besides the will, besides non-probate transfers, we have a third type of document that I think is extremely important, and that is a durable power of attorney. So that in the event that you become incapacitated somebody while you are still alive, so therefore your will has not been taken effect, somebody will be able to do what you need to do, although you're unable to do it for yourself. Many of my students say, Father, my father won't do a durable power, my mother won't do a durable power, because they think that I will immediately put them in some home and they go spend all their money on a wild riotous life. And I laugh. Well, the law is very conscious of that, and they have a test that says that you're only incapacitated when you've proven by clear and convincing evidence to be unable to manage your own financial affairs. So that it's got to be clear and convincing evidence. The due process clause of the United States Constitution states that we have to prove it with at least clear and convincing evidence, and you enjoy a presumption of having capacity. Trust me, I have a lot of 24-year-olds. I don't think have proper capacity. Clear and convincing evidence, again, looks not at whether you're infirmed, any physical ailment. What they're looking for, excuse me, is whether or not you in turn can manage your own financial affairs. If you can't and would suffer a disaster because of that, then these durable powers will kick in. The durable power will allow individuals specific duties to perform or general duties to perform. If the durable power comes into play when you become incapacitated, it is what are referred to as a springing durable power. The springing durable power, when I become incapacitated, will allow an individual to collect my Social Security benefits, to transfer assets, to also at the same time put me in some place where I could have assistance with activities of daily living.